Dollar index slid for 2 straight weeks, a 5-week low, major currencies climbed. Meanwhile, yen rate hike expectations rise, dollar to yen fell, marking its largest weekly decline since September. Key drivers: Fed rate cut probability surge, ADP employment fell far below expectation, while initial jobless claims dropped. The conflicting data reinforced hopes for monetary easing. BOJ rate hike signals: Governor Kazuo Ueda stated the BOJ would weigh the pros and cons of a rate hike. The probability of a December hike climbed, pushing Japanese government bond yields to their highest levels since 2007. Fed rate cut expectations ignite risk asset rally. All three major U.S. equity indices closed higher. Led by the Nasdaq, tech stocks outperformed on rate cut optimism. Meanwhile, energy stocks underperformed. Silver leads with record high, gold consolidates at elevated levels. Fundamental analysis: silver supply-demand imbalance, explosive growth in photovoltaic demand, coupled with global inventories falling. A spike in leasing rates highlights severe spot market tightness. Safe haven and rate cut resonance. Fed rate cut expectations supported gold, though dollar resilience limited upside. Copper hits record high, LME copper rose, Shanghai copper main contract surge. Key drivers: supply disruptions, a mining accident at Glencore's Chile operations forced output cuts. LME cancelled warrants surged, with Mercuria withdrawal. Tariff avoidance trade: traders rushed to ship physical copper to the US, driving regional spot premiums sharply higher. Geopolitical premium in oil eases, WTI crude closed flat for the week. Bull-bear tug of war, progress in Russia. Ukraine peace talks dampened geopolitical risk premiums. However, US EIA inventories rose, exceeding expectations and capping gains. Bitcoin stabilizes, Ethereum followed higher. Regulatory overhang persists. The PBOC reiterated its crackdown on illegal virtual currency financial activities. The US SEC intensified regulatory scrutiny. Fed December rate cut now a market consensus. Weak ADP jobs data and stable PCE inflation provide room for monetary easing. Meanwhile, Trump is reportedly considering nominating dovish candidate Kevin Hassett as the next Fed chair, reinforcing expectations for further easing. JP Morgan expects a 25 basis point rate cut in December, followed by 2 additional cuts next year. BOJ rate hike expectations trigger global bond market shock. Ueda unusually referenced smooth communication with Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi, implying government acquiescence to a rate hike. Heavy sell-offs in Japanese bonds spilled over globally. US Treasury yields followed higher, intensifying unwinding pressure on carry trades. Escalating copper supply crisis, LME stocks dropped below the critical threshold, worsening spot tightness. AI computing power expansion and power grid upgrades are driving long-term demand. The IEA warns that global copper supply could face a shortfall. Key economic events this week: US Federal Reserve rate decision, policy meetings by multiple central banks, Reserve Bank of Australia, Bank of Canada and Swiss National Bank. China's Central Economic Work Conference, China's November CPI and PPI, US JOLTS job openings, Eurozone GDP and CPI. By Amillex.